accent.
Yeah, I'm from Manchester.
I love this. You live in Chicago, you're from Manchester, and you have an Irish name.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's people are always surprised because, like, I am Irish. Like, I was born in Ireland. All my family's from Ireland. You know, I go there a couple of times a year, so I always say that I am Irish. But I grew up in Manchester from about the age of 3 or 4, and then I moved here about 9 years ago. So I don't think I've got an American accent.
No.
You know, I'm going to try and stay true to my Manchester kind of accent.
You have managed to hold on to it very nicely. I definitely, I was shocked because you're a bit of an enigma. You know, you have this Instagram channel, and you never talk. So it's literally you're just talking through your guitar, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, people get so surprised, like, when they hear me. Like, I'll be in the shop at Chicago Music Exchange.
Yeah.
And someone will say, "Oh, hello, you're Nathaniel," or whatever. I go, "Oh, yeah, all right, mate, nice to meet you." And they go, "What? Hang on." You know, it's like, "Where are you from?" And obviously the story begins all over again, you know. So it's cool, though.
You need to do some more talking videos or more interviews so that otherwise you're just going to get bored of constantly having to repeat yourself.
I know. Like, even when I do a lot of demo videos at the shop, so I've been doing them for a while now, you'll still get the odd comment underneath, like, "Where is this guy from? I had no idea, blah, blah, blah." So it's funny. I don't mind it.
But basically, this happened in a way thanks to Nuno Betancourt. So I was chatting to Nuno, and we were talking about some of the guitarists that we were digging right now, and I mentioned you, and then you messaged, someone showed you the video, and then you messaged me to say thank you, and I was like, yes, I wanted to come on the show for ages. Are you up for it? And here we are.
Brilliant. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Somebody sent me the interview that he did with Nuno, and it's like, "Oh, your name gets mentioned, you know, at such and such." And I was like, "What?" You know, I seen Nuno Betancourt, and I think, "You're joking," you know. And then obviously I seen it, and thank you, by the way. I have you to thank for, you know, putting my name. You know, if he doesn't like me, that's cool, you know, or if he doesn't like my playing, but you mentioned me to Nuno Betancourt, so thank you for that, Kylie. That's incredible of you.
I mean, you deserve it. I mean, you're an incredible player. I apologize because I think I had a bit of a spazzy moment, and I didn't know how to pronounce your name. So is it Zeppelinbarnatra?
That's what people usually call it. So it's ridiculous, really. It's too late to change my Instagram name. That's the problem. It's pronounced Zepp, so Zeppelin, obviously Led Zeppelin. So Zeppelinbarnatra is how you say it.
Shut up!
It's madness. Honestly, everyone does the same things. Like, particularly over here, Zeppelinbarnatra. It's like, it'll do, you know. So it's the second part is the name of the village in Ireland that my family is from. So it's called Barnatra. Now, obviously, it sounds different in an Irish accent, but I'm not going to do that.
No.
You know, no one needs to hear me say that. But yeah, it's a weird, very, very weird Instagram name to have. It was actually my email address way before Instagram. There's a long story, and it's silly, it's regrettable, but it's too late to change now. So
it is, unfortunately. I mean, why didn't you go for your name?
I thought I was too cool for that. You know what it's from. You know what it's from. So do you remember when Led Zeppelin had that one-off concert? I think in 2007. That one. So the only way, like, the general public could get tickets for it was via email.
Yeah, I remember.
And yeah. So now, obviously, I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and I was probably about 15 or something at the time. Now, you know, not many 15-year-olds in 2007 had an email address.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not where I'm from, anyway. So obviously, I thought, you know, I best set up an email address. I'd like to get tickets, and I thought, you know what, to show that I really like them, because they're going to see my email name, aren't they? I put Zeppelin to show I'm a big fan, and then for some reason I put the name of an Irish village. Why? I don't know. It couldn't have just been Nathaniel Murphy at AOL, or, you know, God knows what. But that is it. And needless to say, I didn't get the tickets, did I?
I was going to ask you that. Did you actually get the tickets? Oh, no. I didn't get them either. I was gutted. So you mentioned, Nuno, and me mentioning you to Nuno, but you have a lot of incredible, well-established guitar players following you on Instagram anyway. I mean, how does that make you feel?
It's honestly, it's absolutely crazy, because I mean, I'm just a guy in my living room who does, some guitar videos, or tries to. I'm not a professional guitarist. I wish. I'm actually a football coach out here. I coach football. That is my job out here. And people are always kind of shocked at that. The dream is to be a guitarist. And then the whole Instagram thing, that kind of came about from, I used to go busking out on Michigan Avenue. So Michigan Avenue is like the main. It's like, I suppose it'd be like Fifth Avenue in New York or something like that, the equivalent. Or what would it be in London? Tottenham Court? No, what would be Tottenham Court?
Oxford Circus. Yeah.
Oxford Circus, around there. So I used to go busking on the main street in Chicago, and I'd people. I used to have a card, just say Nathaniel Murphy, guitarist, blah, blah, email address, phone number, whatever. And I started getting emails of people saying, "Oh, I love your videos on Instagram." Now, this is obviously a few years ago, and I wasn't on Instagram at the time. I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? So I joined it. I've seen people posting videos, so I thought, I'll join it, and, I'll put guitar videos, and it just kind of snowballed from there, really. And it's helped me out massively. It's been huge for me. So, I mean, when you say, like, guitarists following me, it is mind-blowing. It is. I try to explain to people, when you see people commenting on your videos that you used to listen to in your bedroom in Manchester, learning their songs, I mean, I can't explain how that is. It's amazing.
So let's name some of those guitarists, just so everyone at home knows who we're on about.
Let's see. So, I mean, Joe Bonamass's a big one. I've always loved his playing. Let's see who else off the top of my head. I mean, I'm trying to think of, really, really, really big ones. My mind's gone blank now.
Yeah, I think you've got Miles Kennedy.
Miles Kennedy, yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's, let me see. I mean, I don't, have a list of them written out just for instances like this.
Be like etched in your mind. So just remind yourself how great you are.
Oh, imagine, yeah. But yeah, it's incredible to have, like, big names like that. Looking at my videos, liking them. I had Pete Townsend, for God's sake. Pete Townsend,
what?
Crazy. What? Yeah, Pete. I've spoken. Well, very briefly on Instagram. Just the odd couple of messages here and there. That's it. But he loves my playing. I did a video of Bab O'Reilly, the intro, the synth intro.
Yes.
And I did it on, like, a mangled up, like, a Telecaster, and he loved it. He commented on it and messaged me, and it was, again, it's absolutely mind blowing. Like, chatting with Pete Townsend briefly, just on Instagram, but still chatting with him.
It's recognition, isn't it? And that's what it's about. But I find it criminal that you are not doing this professionally. Why not?
I don't, I wish I had an answer to that. I'm probably going to give the soccer coaching, the football coaching, a rest for a while, try and pursue guitar full time. I don't know, really. I mean, I get that from people all the time. They say, "Why aren't you doing this full time? Why aren't you playing with?" I would love to be like a gun for hire, so to speak. I'd love to travel the world with someone, as a session guitarist. I know people who do it. They're all amazing musicians. They say, "Yeah, you should be doing it," and I don't know. It just hasn't worked out yet. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah. So have you played with bands before then?
I've jammed with a couple of bands, just briefly. Like, I've played with, like, Cheap Trick. Rick Nielsen brought me on stage once with Cheap Trick. That was crazy. I've played, I'm not sure if I should even say it, but I've played with Greta Van Fleet for a few hours at a shop at that's Chicago Music Exchange. Just, a jam. There's no videos or anything, but it was good fun. I mean, I've got to meet some great guitarists, some guitar heroes. I've met Richard Fortus a couple of times from Guns N' Roses. I've met Brad Paisley. So this it's crazy. But I haven't played with them as such.
Right. Okay. So that's what you need to do. You need to get out there and play with other musicians and have.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you mentioned Rick Nielsen, Cheap Trick. I saw that you had one of these double neck guitars that you were playing. In my experience, it's only complete loons that play the double neck. Like Rick is a nutter. I've interviewed him a few times, and it's like a wild horse that you're trying to tame. I mean, like in the most lovable way possible, but he's off the scale crazy in a great way. Same with Ron Bumblefoot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they all have like a common kind of theme going on, and they're eccentric.
Yeah. I think I'm probably the least eccentric to have ever played a double neck. I don't even talk, So, but I mean it was very surreal. It was incredible how that actually happened, because I was doing an Instagram live video, which I can't even remember the last time I'd done one. Maybe probably about a year ago. I never do them. But funnily enough, this one occasion, Rick Nielsen pops up, commented, "Oh, I love you playing, blah, blah, blah." And at the time, I didn't think it was him, because I didn't know what the kind of blue tick meant at the time. That meant obviously it's the real person. So I kind of dismissed it, but then it kept commenting, and it was like, "Oh, I'm going to message you, blah, blah, blah." So he messaged me, reached out, said, "I'd love for you to see some of my guitars and, take them home and play some of them." Couldn't believe it. It was absolutely mind blown. So he's borrowed me some ridiculous guitars over the years. Now that black double neck, so that is if I get this right, it's a 1961 Gibson EMS 12 something. But anyway, there's I believe only 9 of that particular model ever made, and only 2 were ever made in black. And it is easily one of the top 3 guitars I've ever played or ever will play. It was outstanding.
Was it?
Yeah, it is incredible. I mean, the thing with it, obviously, the top neck, it's a regular 6-string, but it's just tuned up an octave. So it's almost got a kind of mandolin.
Okay, because it looks a bit different, because they're normally the same length. This one's a bit shorter, isn't it?
Yeah. So the bottom one is just a regular 6-string. Whereas a lot of double necks tend to be the 12 strings on the bottom. So this one is actually just a regular old 6-string on the bottom, and on the top neck that is also a 6-string, but obviously it's a much shorter scale length and it's tuned up an octave. So it has kind of that mandolin quality to it, but it's an incredible amount of fun. It's great for looping. The videos that I've done with it, I haven't done any looping with that. I just do weird kind of silly fun stuff, or try to, but I mean, the first video I ever did with it, I think that was like the biggest video I ever done, and people went crazy for it, which was really nice. But thank you to Rick Nielsen for letting me check it out.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, talking about that guitar, you dabble with some unique techniques like double-handed tapping. You do this whole percussive playing stuff and the sort of layering melodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not kind of standard stuff that you get taught, as I know, because I've just started learning how to play, and I'm definitely not being taught anything like that. Where did it come from? How did you discover this?
Well, I mean, it's just from influences, really. I think it's very difficult to be original on the guitar, and everything that I've done, I consider to be a direct influence from another guitarist. This player, that player. And some of those influences, there's loads. Obviously, I got into the whole kind of percussive side of playing. Acoustic wise, we had your Andy McKee. Preston Reed, big fan of Preston Reed, but Michael Hedges was probably the main one that influenced me in regards to that acoustic percussive kind of style, and a little bit more, I don't want to say advanced techniques, but different techniques, I could say, like slapped harmonics and little taps here and there, because obviously I'd explored the Van Halen kind of stuff, loved it, but I never really seen anyone do it on acoustic until, well, obviously the Spanish Fly by Van Halen, where he's doing that. Yeah. But in regards to Michael Hedges, it was completely different. I remember hearing the first song, I think it was Ritual Dance by Michael Hedges, and it just absolutely blew me away. I would urge anyone to explore that track or listen to that track and anything by Michael Hedges, really. So he was a huge influence to me in that respect, you know.
Wow, okay. I mean, it is incredible though, because somehow when you're playing, I've watched loads of those videos over and over again to try and figure out stuff. Like, I have 10 fingers, you make it look like you have 20.
I mean,
there's some sort of magic going on there.
No, it's just, I mean, I've started to get a bit conscious of it now, because I've always wanted to do it in a tasteful way, a musical way. Do you know what I mean? For me personally. Now, you know, there's other players who do their thing, and I love listening to other players, and they do it differently. That's the kind of whole beauty of being a musician. Yeah. But I mean, when I'm doing it, it's kind of a sense of, does it help the progression or the arrangement? You know, it might be, right, well, I've got this chord here, and I want to tap this note up here purely because it doesn't sound good there within the chord, or I want this chord to ring out, and I want this melody not to ring out, that kind of stuff. I mean, I can do a little example.
Yeah, please. I mean, basically, what you're saying is you're a class act. You're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're like, there's a pie here. I'm not just going to scoff it all in my face. I'm going to savor it. And yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just kind of, I don't know, I just try to do my own thing, really. Again, it's influences from so many guitarists out there. I personally don't think I'm doing anything different or original to other guitarists out there. It's just influences from all of them. But I mean, in terms of, can you hear that, by the way?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, I did an arrangement of Africa, obviously by Toso. I'll probably mess this up on camera, of course. So obviously you got your, now the chords, you could just do a C sharp minor, and that sounds okay, but it doesn't sound quite like the actual the keyboard chord, the way they play it. So whereas that, obviously it's a bit of a finger twister, but it's a great voicing. And I believe that is what the keyboard plays. So instead of, doesn't sound good, you know, doing that bar chord and this note here. Whereas, you know, it sounds a little bit more like the actual part. And it's a case of, well, I want these notes to ring out for as long as possible, but I need that twiddly part at the top. Or whatever it is, you know, so kind of messing it up there. But you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see exactly. And do you ever use a pick?
Oh, I do. I use a pick all the time. My nails are a little bit long at the moment on these two, just from kind of doing the fingerstyle stuff. But I do use a pick. I love using a pick because I'll do like a lot of hybrid picking. I love hybrid picking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like for the kind of country stuff, kind of mess around. Let's see. Obviously gone a little bit out of tune, but yeah, I do hybrid pick a lot. Actually, this is a bit nasty. Okay, let's have a look. But I don't know if can you see that? Where's
oh my god, you've got lady now going on.
Well, look at that. Yeah. Well, I mean that's quite nasty, but that's purely from the hybrid picking. It just kind of gets eroded, you know, all the time.
I know Brian May, when he's on tour, he has fake nails put on, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know if anyone else does that, but I know he has fake nails so that because it's screwed up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who get the whole fake nails thing, and you know, quite regularly. I've kind of thought about it, but the problem for me is the tapping side of things. If they're too long, then you know, I'm going to really struggle.
Yes, that's very true. I am told off on many occasions by my guitar teacher. He'll be like, "Those nails, you need to cut them. Look at the state of those nails. They're way too long. No wonder you can't play that.
Probably have a field day with me, but yeah, I mean, it's trying to find a balance really. And for some reason, I've been using my my pinky on my picking hand a lot more lately, which was never a conscious thing. I never consciously practiced it, but for like a kind of hybrid picking ideas, let's see. I was doing a Julian Large thing. You know, I've started to creep it in there. Now there's so many players out there who, you know, are hybrid masters. I think TJ Helmrich is one of them, but there's so many out there. But yeah, I've started to notice that I've started to use it a little bit more.
Samantha Fish that showed me the hybrid picking actually, and I think I did. I think I use my pinky when I try and do it.
yeah. I mean, there's so many players that do it brilliant. Obviously, the whole kind of country thing doesn't have to be country, but there's you get your, let's say, I mean, if you're doing a banjo roll, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever, you know. So you'll see it kind of in action there. Yeah, I love hybrid picking.
It's fun, isn't it? I really enjoy it when you're able to actually, for me, you know, when I'm able to hit everything, it's like, yay, I did it.
Yeah.
It's a real kind of feeling of achievement. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's still days like that where it's like you said, that sense of achievement. Like I'm learning a Julian Large thing at the moment, and it's bonkers what he's doing. And you try learning that and you think, oh God, this is going to take ages. Is it even worth it? But it's one of those things where just work on one bar at a time. Just literally one bar, add the next bar. Once you're comfortable with that, add the next one. And eventually you will get there. There's no rocket science to it. It's just patience is a huge thing for a musician, I think. Just to be patient and to kind of get rid of those doubts. Because I suffer from huge doubts, and not many people know that. It's one of those things where you'll come up with an idea and it's like, oh, this isn't good enough for Instagram. It's like, what kind of attitude is that? It's silly. Like, I was looking back at previous videos from maybe a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, and it's like I caught myself saying, oh, you could never post that now. That's not good enough for Instagram. It's like, why? You know what? Why? It's stupid thing on my part. But yeah, confidence is huge.
I think you need to get out there and just play. I think that's what you. I think if you're suffering with confidence issues, you just need to get out there and play with other musicians and just feel the power of the audience.
Yeah.
Physically see the audience. I think that must just be one of the most wonderful feelings ever, I think.
Oh, of course. Because I mean, I was at Chicago Music Exchange one day, and one of the guys working in there, he said, oh, Dweezil Zappa's in here at the moment, you know, combined, you know. Yeah. So I got to the shop. Obviously, I'm just sheepishly kind of in the background. And all of a sudden he goes, oh, I know you. You're that Instagram guy. I was like, oh, shit.
That's nuts that you don't have more confidence in yourself, because...
I mean, I'm working on it. I'll get there. But well, what he'd done for me, it was incredible, because he said, just straight out of the blue, he goes, oh, you're that Instagrammer. Love you playing. Do you want to play with us tonight? I'm like, what? And they're playing at the Vic Theatre here in Chicago. So it's quite a big venue. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. It would be kind of like the Apollo in Manchester.
Right.
Fairly big, you know. Went out on stage and played with him, played a couple of songs, and it was amazing. Like you said, that feeling of being in front of the crowds. Like, I was so nervous playing, but I thought, you know, you have to look up at the crowd at least once or twice just to see. So I remember looking up and thinking, wow, you know, there's just a sea of people just looking at you and like enjoying your playing. And it's a feeling that it's hard to recreate in any other kind of form, you know.
Yeah, it's like you wish you could bottle that.
Oh,
everyone would be so happy if you could just bottle that and then hand it out as medicine.
Exactly.
I think chocolate might come close for me, but yeah. A lot of people, when they come on the show, I always ask them, like, why guitar? So why guitar for you?
why guitar? Is, you know what? It's because we couldn't afford a drum kit, and there's no room for a drum kit. It's just, honest to God, it's as simple as that. I remember, like, growing up in Manchester, I used to be like always banging like either the windowsill or, you know, pots and pans or the table, just doing little beats. I would have loved to become a drummer. I always wanted to, but I mean, looking back, we could never have afforded, you know, a full drum kit, and we didn't have the room for it. Yeah. Certainly no room in the house. We had like a shed, and that obviously has a lot of, I don't know if, you know, growing up in England, a lot of people's sheds are just full of crap. Ours was certainly full of crap. You know, there's no room for it. So I just kind of settled on getting a guitar. You know, I thought, you know, I'd like to play something. And the story of how I got my first guitar was, it was about a week before my 13th birthday, and I remember calling up my granny and said, "Oh, you know, I'm going to start learning the guitar." I said, "Oh, great, you know." And then literally about a week later, 10 days later, I got a letter from my granny. My granny is from that village, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. And she's still with us. And she's gonna be 90. She's gonna be 96 in August, so she's still with us, thank God. And she sent over, it was £50 at the time, and sent a little letter, you know, go get yourself a guitar, blah blah blah. And I wish I still had the letter. I don't know where it is, but you know, just amazing. And that night I went to Argos in Manchester and got like a catalog guitar. Oh, yeah, brilliant. It came with a pitch pipe, came with a little video, and it was, you know, that's how it happened. Crazy.
That is such a beautiful story. I love.
It's amazing.
Man sent you £50 to go and buy a guitar from Argos.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, like, we didn't really know any music shops. I mean, there was Johnny Roadhouse, there was a couple here and there, but yeah, we just me and my dad brought me to Ancoats, Argos, got it in there, and I remember being in tears that very night because I couldn't change from one chord to another. Yeah. Being in tears. I was like 13 at the time. Being in tears, like, oh, this isn't for me. Put it to the side. You know, crazy.
It's amazing how far you've come.
You know what? I can't remember which guitarist kind of made this kind of analogy or pointed this out. If you're ever kind of down on your playing or feel like your playing isn't good, just switch the guitar around and try and hold down a chord, and just realize how far you've actually come. And it is mind-blowing. You know, it's slightly cheesy, but, you know, it is quite, you know, it does open your eyes a little bit. So I can't remember who did that, but thank you to whoever that was, you know.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, because I get like that at the moment. You know, I've been playing, I think, about 8 months now. And, yeah, you know, I feel frustrated, if I'm honest with you, because I feel like I want to do what you're doing, but I can't, you know, obviously. But then my guitar teacher was saying to me, like, you couldn't even change from one chord to the other. Like, now you can change, you know, almost 25 chords. You can do it.
Yeah, but
I want to be able to be doing all of this and everything else. I just want to let it rip.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like the whole, I remember like learning my first kind of open chords and thinking, yeah, this is sweet, this is brilliant. And then along came the dreaded, I think I was learning Don't Look Back in Anger. So obviously I'm a huge Oasis fan.
As so you now I'm from Manchester.
Gotta be standard procedure, right? But yeah, I remember I learned a few Oasis songs, and I was like, right, I've got to learn Don't Look Back in Anger. It's like, yeah, C, G, A minor, E, and it's like a bar chord. What's that?
Don't.
I know. And that just was like, why? I'm back to square one here, trying to learn a bar chord.
I've just hit bar chords now, and I said to my guitar teacher, do you know what? Fuck that. I'm just saying. Exactly. I said to him, do I really need to learn bar chords? Like, do guitarists really play bar chords? Can I just play something else instead? I just won't do songs with bar chords. He's like, give up random. And I was like, I'm not doing it now.
Yeah, dude, it's madness. Because I remember learning, thinking, you know, no way am I going to get this. Because there's kind of stages to when you first learn them. You try and do like an F, and it's like, you'd get maybe 5 out of 6. You get to a point where you get 5 out of 6, and then you can't get the B string. You get that noise because, I don't know, that little bit of your finger doesn't want to work. And then you get it eventually, but it feels like you're pushing your fingers through the fretboard. You know, you're trying to use all your strengths trying to do it, and it's just weird. So it's strange. I don't know how we persevered with guitar, but you know, thankfully we are persevering.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's true. It feels like this thing, you never master it. You're always learning. No. Just once you get over one hill, you're like, you look up and you're like, oh Jesus, got to get out that one now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, also, like when I open up Instagram and I see all these ridiculous players, like astounding, and it's like, oh, you know, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
But then you think like, oh, I want to be able to do that. And it's like, you know, you end up trying to play like those people, trying and failing more often than not. But it is inspiring to see so many incredible musicians out there. You know?
No, it is. I agree with you. And that is the great thing about social media, is that
it
opened up this whole world to for musicians to make money in a different way rather than the conventional way, which is good, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the whole social media, I mean, people assume that I make money off Instagram. I don't make a single penny off it, you know. And that's not a cry for help. Oh, you know, I don't make any money off it. You know, I'm fine the way I am. You know, the whole coaching and whatnot. But yeah, people assume, like, they see the amount of followers and, you know, the views on videos and think, oh yeah, this guy must be raking it in. No. Far from it.
But don't you get brands approach you wanting to do things?
Yeah, not as many as you think. Like Taylor have been very good to me. Taylor guitars and Fender guitars. So I'll get the odd free guitar here and there, which is brilliant. I'm very thankful for that. I mean, I'm never going to refuse a decent guitar coming my way, because I always picture myself in my bedroom when I was 13. I mean, if you were to say to me, look, Fender is going to reach out to you someday and say, look, can you demo this guitar for us? I'd be like, you know, I would never have believed you. So I always kind of think back to that, back to those days, you know. But yeah,
that's a good way to appreciate where you've come. I think is to think about what your 13-year-old self would say if you said, look, that's going to be you when you're older.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
No, it is. Well, Nathaniel, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to finally meet you.
Pleasure as well.
Put a voice to the guitar and the videos and stuff. So yeah, it was cool.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you so much for having me on.